in the Gambia. The government has established the Student Revolving Loan Scheme, the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund, and the National Research and Innovation Fund to advance three critical national priorities. One, expanding equitable access to higher education. Two, strengthening the quality and relevance of academic infrastructure and programs. And three, driving research, innovation, and knowledge generation for national development. These are not merely policy aspirations. They are targeted instruments rooted in national development frameworks and aligned with our vision for a competitive, knowledge-driven, and inclusive economy. We are honored to be guided by distinguished leadership at the helm of these funds. Mr. Mohamed Jah, Chairperson of the Governing Board for the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund, a pioneer in national enterprise and technological advancement. Dr. Ibrahim Assal, Chairperson of the Governing Board for the National Research and Innovation Fund, a continental leader in research collaboration and thought leadership. And Mr. Ernest Ruben Obi, Chairperson of the Governing Board for the Student Revolving Loan Scheme, a seasoned development administrator with deep regional experience. Sirs, your collective expertise positions us strongly. However, today's ceremony is not simply symbolic. It marks the beginning of implementation. The nation is watching, our students are hopeful, our institutions are expectant, and our partners are looking for progress. To the appointed executive directors, your mandates are clear and expectations are high. Dr. Samba Ba, Executive Director of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme, will ensure that the scheme becomes a truly sustainable and revolving facility. Under his leadership, loan recovery systems will be strengthened, access will be fully digitalized, and opportunities for higher education will expand significantly. More deserving students, especially girls, persons with disabilities, and learners from rural communities will have fair and affordable pathways into tertiary and higher education. Dr. George Ndur Tamberu, Executive Director of the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund, will spearhead transformative improvements in infrastructure, faculty development, and institutional effectiveness across higher education institutions. Investments will yield noticeable enhancements in student learning environments, teaching quality, academic delivery systems, and overall institutional capacity, ensuring that every Dalasi contributes to a stronger, more modern, and more competitive higher education system. Professor Mamadou Sala, Executive Director of the National Research and Innovation Fund, will cultivate a vibrant ecosystem that responds directly to national development challenges. His stewardship will drive impactful innovation in key sectors such as agriculture, environmental management, public health, digital transformation, teacher development, and local industry advancement. Research outputs will increasingly move forward from academic theory to practical solutions with measurable national benefits. Board chairs, members of boards, executive directors, this is the moment to shift from aspiration to execution. The relevance of these funds will be measured not by their launch, but by their impact. Students supported, resources mobilized, research commercialized, institutions strengthened, and livelihoods improved. As the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, we reaffirm our commitment to provide full policy backing, oversight, and support. In return, we expect accountability, collaboration, data-driven decision-making, and timely reporting. Let us move forward with purpose. The future of our higher education system depends on the decisions and the actions we take from today onward. I thank you for your attention.
From our newly appointed executive directors of the three funds, starting with the executive director of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme, Dr. Samba Ba. Please join me to welcome Dr. Samba Ba.
Honorable Minister of the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Pierre Gomez, the Permanent Secretary and Deputy Permanent Secretaries, other Permanent Secretaries around, esteemed board members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I will start a little bit unconventional by saying I am a product of the UTG, but I know many, and I started with many who could not say that. One of which is Salifu Sise. Salifu is from Gisari in Sierra. We started the UTG together. We were friends. We were three, myself, Salif, and Habib. Habib is now doing very well. But some of the faces I see here would remember those days in UTG when the accounts department would come to class during exams and send students out. Salif was among the students who was sent out of class many times during exams. He left UTG in our second year, went back to his village. I continued. I was privileged to have a scholarship from the Taiwanese embassy. My friend Habib had his uncle paying for him. We completed our studies. The semester after we completed, I was hired and worked at the UTG. One morning, I can remember I was with the current information minister, Dr. Ismail Asise, when I received a text from Salifu's brother to say, Salifu caught a disease and he passed away. I know Salif very well. Salif was a better writer than all three of us. He was a very good student. If Salif probably had gotten the support he needed, even if he were not here today with us, he would have completed his UTG degree. And at least he could have inspired many kids from Gisadi and the surrounding environment to pursue higher education because they believe if Salif could make it, they could. I did my undergrad in political science, but from that day, Salif's story inspired my journey. From the UTG, I went on to pursue 2 masters and a PhD, but my research always focused on financing of higher education because I saw firsthand how financing was critical to access. So ladies and gentlemen, it's with great honor and a deep sense of purpose that I'm here before you today on this historic occasion, the official launching of the boards of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme and of course the 2 other very critical funds. This marks not just the beginning of new institutions, but the birth of transformative ideas that place access, equity, and sustainability at the heart of our educational financing systems. For decades, the pursuit of higher education in the Gambia has been a dream, too often deferred for talented young women and men, not because of ability, but because of problem of unaffordability. With the establishment of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme, our nation is taking a bold, forward-looking step to ensure that financial constraints will no longer stand in the way of ambition and potential. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege of accompanying the minister and the senior officials of MOHAS on Monday to the National Assembly for the higher education budget bilaterals. And we spent hours discussing the debt that is owed to our higher education institutions. The debt is in the millions, it's in the hundreds of millions. Such debt poses an existential threat to these institutions. The Student Revolving Loan Scheme represents a paradigm shift from dependency on limited scholarships to a sustainable financial model that empowers students today, and it will replenish itself for generations to come. This is not a fund that would give once and it's depleted, but it will come with a revolving mechanism, one that grows stronger through repayment, discipline, and shared responsibility. Honorable Minister, I wish to thank you and the leadership of Mohast for your unwavering commitment to this vision. Your guidance and foresight in pushing the Students' Loan Act into fruition have created a solid policy and legal foundation on which the scheme now stands. To the members of the board, I would like to extend my warm congratulations on your appointment. You have been entrusted a national responsibility to provide oversight, integrity, and strategic direction to an institution that would touch thousands of lives. I am confident that your collective expertise will ensure that the scheme remains transparent, accountable, and responsive to the needs of Gambian students. As Executive Director, my immediate priorities are very simple. First, to operationalize the Students' Loan Scheme in line with the Act. Second, to build an efficient secretariat with competent professionals and robust systems. Third, to develop policies and digital tools that ensure efficiency, accountability, and equity. Fourth, and very fundamentally, to work closely with the board, the ministry, and national partners to make sure the scheme is operationalized within the shortest period of time. Over the next few months, our focus will be on institutional building, strengthening governance, developing operational manuals, recruiting key staff, and laying down the systems that will guarantee financial integrity and sustainability. I am truly of the belief that the success of this scheme would depend not only on good policies, but it will depend very much on the spirit of partnership that binds us all, between the ministry, the board, the universities, financial institutions, and the students themselves. Together, we'll build a model that will not only finance education, but it will inspire accountability, patriotism, and an unwavering commitment to national development. Honorable Minister, distinguished board members, and colleagues, let us make this scheme a symbol of hope, a revolving door of opportunities through which every deserving Gambian student will walk through, study, succeed, and give back. I think we owe this to Gambia. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Those inspiring statements. No Gambian has to now be limited by the inability to afford university tuition, thanks to the establishment of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme. I now have the singular honor to call on Dr. Jojo Nur Tambedu, the Executive Director of the National Research and Innovation Fund. Please welcome Dr. Tambedu of Research and Innovation.
Thank you, DPS. Thank you for assigning me another gender, another name. I'm very grateful. Honorable Minister, Permanent Secretaries, Deputy Permanent Secretaries, Chairs of the boards, board members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the media, it's an absolute honor to be here. And this call for national duty, kind of like, I just want to get on with it. I just really think that talking here, we're taking time, so just want to get on with it. So we have a lot of work to do. So my starting point is that we want to set up an institution that is world standard, that is premised on rigor in terms of research and innovation, that is premised on the principle of reproducibility. It is also premised on peer review and critical peer review. These are the instruments that we want to premise this National Research and Innovation Fund on. We also are cognizant of the fact that that there is a lot of epistemological snobbery in that the problems of Africa, the problems of the Gambia, are often seen through Western lenses in terms of solutions. And we often use imported research models and paradigms that might not be applicable within the Gambian context. This user talks about epistemicide, where whole cultural knowledge systems are destroyed or are seen as insignificant. And that is the challenge we have. By using decolonial lenses, by making sure that our solutions, the research paradigms, the innovation pedagogies that we actually use are responsive and functional within the Gambian context. So we see research and innovation as an absolute honor, as a great opportunity to change the trajectory, to address poverty, to provide sustainable housing, to provide adequate food, clothing, and shelter, to be able to engage with the latest technology that can be applied within our local context. We're not playing, we're not here to joke. The minister's vision is to create a research and innovation infrastructure that is fit for purpose, that is about a statement of intent to uplift. And we take this role very, very seriously. We're not only accountable here to the Ministry of Higher Education and the government, we're also accountable to the people. And we know that there are a lot of expectations, and we are also serious about this. We are also keen to make sure that in terms of understanding our situatedness, our positionality in building this new institution, that there are a number of problems that exist. You know, if our people are still going hungry on a daily basis, if we cannot provide adequate housing, if the backward dump site is still existing currently, what can research do in terms of using technologies, in terms of using research, in terms of innovating? You know, I was involved in setting up the research and innovation in USET. And then one of the things that the hubs in USET, and one of the first things we did was just told the students, we've got a grand challenge, and we all went to the Bangladesh site and said, what's the problem? What are the solutions? And students started developing prototypes, from using the tires that are in there to actually develop tiles, to using all kinds of solutions. So the innovation is there, the research opportunity is there, and the willingness of our people. And we have got 1,001 problems that we can solve. So I am really, really hopeful that in terms of agriculture, housing, in terms of health, food, and technologies, we will develop an ecosystem, an infrastructure that is fit for purpose, that is decolonized, that is liberated, and that must add to the development of our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Sala. That was very inspiring, a decolonial approach to African solutions. Wish you good luck and all the best in setting and moving the research and innovation agenda of the Gambia to new heights. I now call on Dr. Jojo, the new Executive Director of the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. Please welcome Dr. Jojo. And IT, can we kindly have her slide up the screen, please? IT, yes, thank you. Please.
Honorable Professor Per Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Her Excellency Jainava Jain, Permanent Secretary Mohas, Dr. Mukhtar Dabo, DPS Technical Mohas, Mrs. Ndaifatu Trawale, DPS Admin and Finance Mohas, Director of STI, Dr. Samba Sow, PS Dr. Yusufa Toure, Permanent Secretaries from other ministries, Chairpersons of the funds, Mr. Mohamed Jah, Dr. Ernest Obi, and Professor Ibrahim Masal. distinguished members of the boards, heads of institutions, my colleagues, Professor Momodou Sala and Dr. Samba Ba, our esteemed parliamentarians, development partners, the media, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Have you ever been in a position where you had no choice or felt hopeless because of the lack of knowledge or skills? Our young people deserve more than hope. This is timely. Too many have risked their lives across deserts and oceans driven by despair, convinced that their future lies somewhere else. Every year, we lose thousands of bright minds, not just to migration, but to lost faith. But what if the opportunities they seek could meet them right here at home? What if we could show them that their dreams don't live in distant lands, but in their minds, their hands, and their communities? This is what drives me every single day, to ensure that our youth are not merely surviving, but thriving, to build their capacity to advocate for their empowerment through education, to open doors where walls once stood. Indeed, when we empower one young person, we strengthen an entire family. We empower entire communities. And when we create opportunities here at home, we build a Gambia where no one feels compelled to leave in search of dignity. In fact, we can be an education hub, attracting international students from afar. Today, we gather to ignite a movement that says good quality, accessible, and inclusive tertiary education will no longer be a privilege for the few, but a promise for every young Gambian with a dream and a determination to pursue it. Honorable Minister, under your visionary leadership, the Gambia is entering a new chapter, one defined by self-reliance, innovation, and opportunity. Your unwavering commitment to youth empowerment and education reform continues to inspire all of us to think boldly, act decisively, and serve selflessly. To you and your tireless team at Mohast, we owe a debt of gratitude. Your energy, courage, and foresight have transformed the idea of a national education and skills trust into a living, breathing institution. Today, the TED Fund stands as proof that when vision meets determination, transformation follows. Distinguished guests, the establishment of the TED Fund comes at a defining moment in our nation's journey. Across the Gambia, from Basse to Birkama, from Farafenni to Kanifing, young people are searching for pathways to dignity, skills, and self-reliance. They want to learn a trade. They want to innovate. They want to contribute, but too often they are held back, not by lack of talent, but by lack of opportunity. As you can see in the slide, we know the statistics. In some parts of the Gambia, youth unemployment stands nearly 50%. Around half of our young people are neither in education nor in training. Over 100,000 are discouraged job seekers, and tragically, we continue to record some of the highest irregular migration rates on the continent. Behind these numbers are names, faces, families, and communities. We see the strength and creativity of our youth, yet we also see their struggles. Human capital development is a key pillar of the National Development Plan, the Yiriwa Plan, and we know that without timely investment in human capital, our country cannot fully harness the power of its most valuable resource, its people. In decades to come, over half of the world's youth population will be in Africa. For the Gambia, this is not a challenge. It is an opportunity. A growing youth population, if well nurtured, is our greatest chance. It is our demographic dividend. The opportunity to turn that youthful energy into productivity, innovation, and growth. This is why the TED Fund was created, to transform potential into prosperity. The TED Fund is a national financing mechanism established to mobilize, manage, and invest resources in education, skills, development, and innovation. It is designed to strengthen the TVET and higher education institutions, support training linked to employment, entrepreneurship, and industry needs, and build the capacity of our trainers, our teachers, our researchers, and our lecturers. Through grants and institutional support, that fund will ensure that Gambian learners, regardless of gender, background, or ability, can access quality, relevant education and contribute meaningfully to national development. Yesterday, I heard the Honorable Minister say, the youth, the new yoni, te yakamtinyu, underscoring the sense of urgency. This is our call to action. The time for action is now. Good quality and accessible tertiary and higher education is not a luxury, it is an urgent necessity. The TED Fund exists to change that story. We're building a bridge between the classroom and the workplace, between higher learning and higher earning, between potential and progress. And we will do this with focus and purpose. One, to ensure our training institutions are equipped, our lecturers and instructors supported, and our graduates employable. To make TVET a first choice, not a last resort. To empower women and girls, ensuring that they are not just participants, but leaders in national development. And to open doors for persons with disabilities so that no talent goes unnoticed and no dream is left behind. This is not theory, it is action. Within the next 90 days, a plan has already been submitted. The fund will move from paper to practice. This will happen in 3 phases. Phase 1 focuses on establishing the fund's institutional foundation, that is, its governance structures, staffing, office setup, and approval of key operational documents, including a risk management framework and a detailed costed work plan. Phase 2 emphasizes stakeholder alignment, resource mobilization, and strategic visibility. During this period, the fund will develop its 3-year strategic plan, operationalize its monitoring, evaluation, and learning system, and launch its brand and communications platforms. Phase 3 will deliver tangible quick wins through the launch of 2 pilot windows, while finalizing institutional systems and producing the first quarterly report. These pilots will demonstrate that real impact can happen quickly when vision meets accountability. But this is only the beginning. We will form strategic partnerships with the private sector, led by patriotic entrepreneurs like our distinguished board chair, Mr. Mohamed Jah, whose commitment to national development through enterprise continues to inspire us all. We will also work with development partners to build a fund that is not only sustainable but exemplary, and we will call upon our diaspora, the Gambian sons and daughters across the world, to invest their skills, innovation, and resources back home. We will embrace technology and transparency. The fund will be digital and data-driven, funds accounted for, every program monitored, every success measured. To our newly inaugurated boards, congratulations. Under Mr. Jah's steady leadership and guidance, we will strive for excellence and measurable impact, upholding the highest standards of governance, transparency, and service. And finally, to the youth of the Gambia, this fund is for you. It is for the young woman in Bansang who dreams of becoming a scientist. It is for the young man in Brikama who wants to build a tech startup. It is for the university graduate at Faraba waiting for a chance to apply his skills. This fund is your bridge to a better future. Even when faced with challenges, we will remain resilient, turning adversity into strength and hope into achievement. We may not have gold or diamonds beneath our soil, but we have something greater, our people. And when we invest in them, when we give them knowledge, skills, and opportunity, the Gambia will rise. I call on each and every one of you to take ownership, to support this vision, and to rise together in purpose, in unity, and in faith, to build a nation where every Gambian, male or female, differently abled or not, regardless of background, has the skills, the confidence, and the opportunity to thrive. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. scan the QR code to have access to the TED Fund app. You can take this along. Thank you.
Chairpersons of the governing boards to each deliver their remarks, their statements of strategic importance of these funds. I'll begin with Mr. Ernest Ruben Obi, the chairperson of the Student Revolving Loan Scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, a majestic welcome as he walks to the podium. Please, Mr. Obi.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, Deputy Permanent Secretary. Honorable Minister Professor Per Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Deputy Permanent Secretaries in this ministry, and other directors in the ministry, all Permanent Secretaries here present this morning, directors, senior government officials, chairpersons of the governing board of the Tripartite Fund and members of the board, executive directors of the Tripartite Fund, the students, the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a singular honor and pleasure for me to address this very important gathering, a groundbreaking occasion in the history of our country, especially with regards higher education, science and technology. A day in which the board of the tripartite financing bodies are inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. I would like to commend the dynamism, initiative, and passion of the Honorable Minister in mapping out a clear and performance-based roadmap for higher education in this country. It has come to the knowledge of all Gambians that every month, every week, there is something positive on higher education. From the establishment of USET, the establishment of the University of Education, the Gambia, the TVET centers spread across the length and breadth of this country, the awards of unending number of scholarship to our young people within and outside the Gambia. These are laudable achievements in our higher education, research, science and technology ecosystem. On behalf of the governing board and management, I take this opportunity to thank the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, for approving our appointments. I equally take the opportunity to thank the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology and his able staff for the confidence and trust they have in this board. I want to assure the government of the Gambia through Professor Per Gomez that the task given to us as a board would not be taken lightly. It is a call to duty, a call to action. We have to move in this country from rhetoric to action, action to impact. Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our board and management team would work tirelessly to ensure that the objectives enshrined in the Act will be accomplished. We will ensure that Gambian students across the board have access not just to higher education, but to quality higher education. The scheme, the revolving loan scheme, provides a golden opportunity for more young people to access higher education and achieve their academic and professional goals in life. This is the first time we're having such a scheme. All of us who are now retirees had to do or embark on our education outside Gambia in various parts of the world. But today, under the leadership of President Barrow and the guidance of Professor Gomez, the opportunities are even greater in this country for higher education. I want to commend you, Honorable Minister, for this initiative. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will ensure that the objectives of the Act are achieved and the skilled manpower produced will lead to the transformation of the Gambian economy, promote economic well-being, and improve livelihoods for all Gambians and people living within the boundaries of this great country. The scheme will be governed by an act, as I said earlier, and relevant government policies across various sectors, from the basic education policy, higher education policy, the research and science and technology policies, the National Development Plan of the Gambia, and other relevant policy guidelines. The implementation of the scheme will be anchored on the principles of performance, fairness, honesty, transparency, and accountability. Because as a board and management, we are accountable to the government of the Gambia and to the people of the Gambia, because the activities of this board are coming from public finance. We would ensure that we do the right things in the interests of Gambia and Gambians. As a board and management team, our goal is to ensure that deserving students benefit from the scheme based on very clear guidelines and processes that will be established by both the board and the management under the guidance and supervision of our parent ministry, which is MOHAS. We will work closely with the ministry to provide policy guidelines, support, and oversight. However, our interactions will not be limited to MOHAS, because this is a national project. We will work with partners in government and outside government to make the scheme a successful endeavor and make it beneficial to the Gambian people, especially our youths, our students, people who are disadvantaged financially, people who have disability, and people who are struggling to achieve their academic and professional dreams. This scheme is for all Gambians, regardless of tribe, ethnicity, religion, or political persuasion. We will work to incorporate best global practices in our work, both as a board and a management team. Our joy will be to see this student revolving loan scheme to outlive all of us. We want in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, even 50 years' time, for this scheme to be operational to benefit Gambian students. A key element, Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, is the element of sustainability. Sustainability is the bedrock of development. The sustainability of the scheme is critical for success, and board, with the support of management, would establish clear sustainability mechanisms to guide the scheme so that we just don't depend upon public finances, but we can get finances from other sources. In this regard, I would want to appeal to well-meaning Gambians and non-Gambian individuals, the private sector, civil society organizations, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, Gambians in the diaspora, and development partners to support the laudable initiative of this scheme, and also, by extension, the tripartite funds that have been established or that will be inaugurated today. Through genuine partnership, we can make a significant difference in the lives of present and future generations of young people. I take this opportunity to thank all of you for your support, your understanding and cooperation. And work starts now. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
The only thing that we need to do as Gambians is to adapt or apply, what has been found elsewhere, or transfer, whether it's, technology or innovations. The development of every country should be led by the people of that country. And this means the thinking about development itself, the understanding of what the challenge is and the specific context in which they are, the understanding of what the opportunities out there are, what works for us and what doesn't work for us is our responsibility. So therefore, investing in enhancing the capacity to understand what the opportunities are, what the challenges are, what the risks are, what we can, harness